You're listening to Sensitive, Spiritual, and Successful, the podcast where we uncover ways to connect you back to your soul self and get you unstuck so that you can live out your full potential. I'm Jasmine Lynn, a former psychotherapist turned human design soul guide and EFT tapping success coach, and I'm here to show you how to love yourself through all your levels of growth. I know you're here because you have an impact you want to make in this world and you have a light to share, and I'm here to guide you through that journey because you deserve soul-aligned success. Hi, everyone. I have Mary Sise here today, and I'm so excited because she's been such a pivotal part in my journey of putting myself out here. And so I really am so grateful that she agreed to be on this podcast. Mary Sise is a psycho-spiritual therapist, coach, best-selling author, and energy psychology pioneer. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Jazz. It's great to be here. Thank you for asking me.
I guess we'll just jump right in. I want everyone to know, how did you get into tapping and energy psychology?
Well, that's a great question. So, like you, I'm a social worker. So I have my caseload in. I was working in a large HMO, health maintenance organization, for those who don't know what that is. But when you have that kind of insurance, everybody who has that insurance comes to us. You'll go to the same. So we had a whole big staff of psychiatrists and psychologists and social workers. And one day at a meeting, I said, I really like to work with borderlines. And everybody looked at me like are you kidding me? And then from that point on, anybody who had like a lot of hospitalizations or nobody knew what to do with them or whatever was on my caseload. And so before you know it, I had this wacky caseload. It was just like people were just like all over the place. And I loved it. I just loved trying to figure things out. And I realized very quickly that now this is back in the 90s and they weren't really talking about borderlines as a trauma diagnosis. Like now we know so much more. They've been traumatized, they've been fragmented. But very quickly early on, I realized, talking to them and doing standard psychotherapy, it wasn't working and it was making them really worse. They were becoming more suicidal as they began to talk about what happened to them growing up. The theory was, you just talk about it and they'll get all better. Well, that was definitely not happening. And there wasn't the trauma knowledge we have now. And first I heard about a therapy called EMDR, which is an eye movement therapy. And this is in the 90s, like nobody's doing this stuff. And I learned that, and that was awesome. That worked really well, but I still had a segment of my caseload that was really traumatized. And when I would move their eyes too much or it would go too fast for them. And so too many traumas would come in. And so then I just kept praying, to be honest with you. I know we're going to talk about spirituality here, but like as a therapist, my recommendation is you pray a lot. And I just started, come on, there's got to be, I don't want to make people worse. I don't want to hurt people. And that's when I stumbled into energy psychology. And it was crazy because you're tapping on your face, you're moving some eyes. Okay, I knew that part. But I didn't know a meridian from, it's the 90s. Nobody's even talking karate hardly, let alone, acting on your face. And it's just was crazy. But wow, the traumas would stop, the flashbacks would stop, the nightmares stopped. And then I had to spend a lot of my work in how do you take fragmented aspects of consciousness and weave them back with tapping in a safe way so they're not stuck under the bed hiding or in their closet or somewhere when it's terrible. These things are happening. So that's when I then began to develop coursework and things like that on how to do it.
Oh,
it was a long time ago.
That is wonderful. I love that when you're working with clients and you can see that there's a gap in how to treat and trying to figure out, okay, there's got to be something more, because I think a lot of therapists, maybe even coaches, go through this where they see their clients and maybe things aren't working and it's like, no, there's another component. It's not just in the mind. There's a body component that we need to integrate. Yeah.
And that was not talked about then. In fact, now we have Bessel van der Kolk's great book, The Body Keeps the Score. But I can still remember in the 90s, he was speaking at a hospital, trauma hospital in Vermont and I went to the conference. there, and I was like, "Oh my god, somebody's saying what I'm seeing." I knew he had it, and that was when he first came out with "The Body Keeps the Score." It was an article, I think I still have it, and, yeah, I actually taught him and his team, tapping, and
Oh, that's
oh, yeah,
fun.
yeah, he credits me. Well, I've been around for a long time, what can I tell you? It was right after September 11th.
Oh,
I went over there and just trained them all, and yeah, so and he uses tapping even though he got people don't realize when he started doing EMDR, he got a lot of flack from the straight psychiatry people, and, but now but I knew then, this guy's got it. He's saying what I'm seeing. And I
yeah.
agree with you. I would really encourage those of you who work with others, when something's not working, just go inside and ask. And if you ask, it's given. Show me what more do I need to know? And you will be led to something. Like I was led there. And then I was led to EMDR was actually after I met him. I
Mhm.
was led to EMDR and then I was led to tapping. And now yeah, the sky's the limit. And I see you also do human design. I just started with that. Oh my God, that is going down. And I'm trying to hold myself back, like, to not take one more course. But like, I don't know about you, but I have so many. But I'm like, oh my God, I got my chart done. I'm like, holy smokes, this is like true. Everything she said was so true. And I felt so less like, maybe I'm a manifester, so maybe I'm just a little too know-it-all righteousness is like, I thought, was might be a design flaw on my own. But
Yeah.
I'm like, "Nope, that's who I am. I know what I know," and
I love that. I took you I was like, either Mary is a projector or a manifestor. I was talking to my husband. I'm like, "I wonder if she knows." And it's funny, in 2 weeks, I'm interviewing Karen Curry Parker, the
oh,
creator of
great, she's
Quantum
great.
Human
That's
Design.
what
Yeah.
that's she was at the ship too, teaching.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. So, yeah, I'm so glad that you're kinda diving into it because I think you do a lot of connecting to the soul. When I did your course, I wanna tell you a little story about how you've really supported in changing my life here. So I took your course, the Shift Network course. I got a scholarship for it. I was at home trying to do a doctorate. I had a newborn. Like I have 2 kids and I was trying to finish this doctorate in counseling and psychotherapy. And I knew that it wasn't for me. I thought I'm going to set myself up because the goal is you're going to finish your doctorate and be a professor or an instructor, right? So I decided I'm a go-getter. So I'm like, I'm gonna work for the university, get my name in there, and then as soon as I graduate, I'm gonna get this job and it's going to be wonderful. But then I took your course. Like you said, when you follow the little crumbs of helping clients. So I was working as a psychotherapist and I saw Donna Eden, energy medicine, and then her husband, David Weinstein. And so I got led to energy medicine and then training and tapping. I did it through ASEP. You were the past president for
Yes.
the association. And so I did my training with them and I started using it in clinical practice. And I saw it was like an ad. I remember the tagline you kept telling us was prioritize loyalty to your soul or
To yourself, yeah.
to your soul. Yes. And that was in my head. And you kept saying, just say that to yourself. And I thought, okay. So in my head, I thought, oh, I'm going to go be this professor, finish this doctorate. But the other side of me was like, ooh, there's like spirituality, human design, EFT tapping, helping entrepreneurs because I was in the works of trying to build myself up to kind of reach my potential. Like I felt like I could be this person I envisioned, but I was still very scared. My nervous system was, safety, hide. So I'm like, there's a way to break through this. And so 2 weeks into your course, not even kidding you, I get a message a day apart, a text message from a friend at the college I used to intern at. She said, "An instructor dropped out of their course. There's 7 weeks left. I know you're doing your doctorate. Can you please teach?" And I thought, "Oh, well, that's weird." Like, that's exactly what I wanted. And then the next day, someone I had met online, we were connecting through ASAP. She was trained as well. And she said, "Oh, I hope it's okay that I, recommended you to this person who is setting up a summit for entrepreneurs and they want someone to teach them EFT tapping." I'm like, "Whoa, that's exactly what I want." And they were a day apart, 2 messages. So the assistant messaged me and she said, "Yeah, this is a paid speaking opportunity. Can you do this?" I didn't feel completely ready. and the course was at night, and I like to put my kids to bed at night. So none of those panned out, but what that showed me through your tapping when I cleared my blocks, just 2 weeks in, oh, I know where I'm supposed to be headed. And that started my journey of, okay, EFT tapping, human design, I need to start heading in that direction because as soon as that opportunity to teach came, I thought, I know I should do it, but do I want to? No. So I want to, yeah, thank you so much for just doing that course, having that opportunity to do that, and the way the universe just works. And it just, two things came head to head with me, but that was just taking your shift network course.
Thank you. I know. Honestly, I love that course at the shift because it's really can you would get into money and we get into your health and we get into this and we get into that and we get the blocks out of the way and parts. I mean, it covers so many things that if you really do it, you'll see big shifts. And then there's another one that's even longer that I do. I don't know if you did that one, but that was, oh my God, that people had amazing results.
Yeah.
I love teaching there. I'm actually going to teach the one you took in September this year.
Okay.
Again, I usually teach it every year, sometimes twice a year there for them. So yeah, if anybody listening wants to do we'll call it the miracle course. Honestly, it gets you out of your own way. And it helps you understand the energetics of how the planet works. And that once you're in alignment with your soul, life goes easy. That's how you know you're in alignment. Like things just synchronistically show up and you're like, who knew it's supposed to be this easy? I just had to get myself out of the way and my fears out of the way. And then it's easy. It's really not, it seems miraculous, but it's not. It's energetic. It's very,
Mhm.
you get in alignment with what you came to do. You ask the universe, you ask divinity, whatever you call it. Don't get caught up in the names or
Mhm.
it's how was always supposed to work down here. It's
Yes.
just we got way off the trail. And
And
then the more of us do it, the more we're an example for other people. You know how you can serve your clients now because you know how to play the game down here.
yeah, that's it. I feel like it's a game, and I think there's a lot of people, when you look at someone's story, you're like, "How does this stuff happen for this person? How did she get from here to here?" It's like, "Oh, this can be you too."
Exactly. And what I love about the human design piece, once you know your human design, in my opinion, you stop trying to be like anybody else.
Yeah, it's a map to your
It's a,
soul.
oh, like I was doing it with I did once I did mine, then I actually met with someone and really did a session on it and and the thing she was telling me, I was just laughing like, oh my God, that's in my chart. Oh, I never like I think I have the ruler one. Oh, shocking. Like I didn't need to do human design. My husband could have told you that. We did. But anyway, but I could just really super relax more into it.
Mhm.
And then that frees more up for you. So I really
Mhm.
recommend everybody do human design. And then actually was talking to another person who does human design. Is we have to create a tabbing course for like, how to, get your fears out of the way for each. I bet you could do one on like for projector fears,
Yes,
manifestors fear.
that's the
Is
book.
that what you're doing? Yeah.
That's the book.
Oh, good. I had that idea too. Like 2 weeks ago, I had that one. You guys
Yeah,
got to do a course on this, and then
yeah.
presented it at a day session.
That's a dream. When I talked to Dr. Peter Stapleton, I said, "One day I'm gonna be there." I told my husband I'm gonna be there, but I'm currently
Exactly.
pregnant, so I couldn't go this year.
Yeah.
Next
Yeah.
year,
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be wonderful. Okay, I wanna get to know more about you and your work, and I think other people want to too, because
Yep.
this is so cool that I get to talk to you right now. So, yeah, so I believe when we clear our blocks and align to our soul, things can shift for us. That's what I've experienced. I'm sure you've seen many people have that experience as well. So, why do you think tapping is so helpful when it comes to topics like success and goal setting?
Okay. Oh, easy. Because all of us were born with a survival brain, and the brain is wired to keep you safe. And the older you are, it's like your TV. Okay. Some of us like I'm in my 70s now. So like my brain is like the one with the rabbit ears that we had and only 3 channels. Okay. It's like a very old version of the TV set. new children that are coming on now are like, they're Bluetooth. They're like, have you seen them? Like you have children. Their brains are nothing like our brains. They pick up things faster. They're reading fast. They're doing everything faster than we ever could. And that's just and we could say evolution. It's what's happening on the planet right now. Time is speeded up on the planet, in case you haven't noticed. That's why a day is so much faster and things are happening so much faster. It's like, who sends a letter anymore? Really? You text, you like, it just is. Okay. So we want to use that to our benefit. The problem is I got this brain with like rabbit ears, only a couple channels, and it's where it's wired. If you look at any brain science, it really will make you make sense. There's a part of your brain in there. It's called the amygdala. It's your smoke alarm in there, and it gets set. And it gets set. Its job is to tell the rest of your brain what part of the brain we're using. Are we going to use this part of the brain, the top of the brain, where all our smarts are, for reason and logic, or are you going to take that part right off and just go into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn? Okay. So, for example, as a little girl, if your dad was really ragey and really angry, and your amygdala would signal angry men, danger, 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 and it will fire anytime that you're in a meeting with your boss or with a coworker, and you can feel them getting a little agitated. You're going to get scared because the smoke alarm is like the smoke alarm in your oven. It doesn't care that you didn't clean the oven. If you set an alarm on, you figure it out. It's like, and some of this, sometimes the amygdala sends an alarm off the whole house is on fire, like because of where it got set. So that being said, that tells you whether to go into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Fighting, we all know, and some of you are fighters. Usually, I find if you were one of the older kids in the family and you're bossy and whatever, probably your human design is manifesting. You're like, your fists are up, you're ready. Come, you the guy. There's a fight, and you jump in. You don't run away. Like break it up. Like break it up. Like you do that, and you're wired like that. Somebody who's in the middle or a baby, they're going to run. They're going to go hide or something. So they'll fight or they'll freeze. The whole system will shut down, and that usually means you had some pretty bad trauma to the body when you were little. One are the people pleasers. Oh, jeepers. They know exactly what everybody else needs. They have no idea what they need. Their role was to kind of smooth it over, smooth it over. So if you're a people pleaser, and you might think that's a very saintly quality, I tell you, it's not. It's a survival strategy from growing up, trying to keep mom or dad happy so that the house would be quiet. Okay. So I hate to diss you people pleasers, but look at that. It's a trauma. Usually I would say for all of you, maybe there's a few saints out there listening to it, but it's usually a trauma response. So you're wired like that. There's nothing wrong with you. Now, what happens is when you go to have success or success is there, your amygdala is going to wait. No, you can't be seen. Don't make noise. Who do you think you are? All the programming that you got from being a little kid, and that's going to fire. And so now your whole nervous system goes into fight or flight, and the tapping by first identifying and accepting it, don't resist it. And then you use your tapping and eye movement. To me, the eye movements, especially for people who have had rough childhoods or tough events, that does something to shift the brain. It does something to the brain, and something fires. We close your eyes, we open your eyes. You're lighting up the brain in different ways. Something fires, and then the nervous system settles down, and you can feel it, like your body just, "Oh, that time's over." Or if you had a trauma, we go back and heal that trauma. It's over. It's not happening over and over in your subconscious mind or in your. So for those reasons, that's why, for me, everybody on this planet should learn tapping, because it's scary right now. All you have to do is watch the news, and your amygdala is gonna fire. It's scary. Too much information's coming in, and so to really quiet your system down, use it at night before you go to sleep. Yeah, everybody. This should be taught to kids in kindergarten. Like how to quiet my nervous system down. And there's nothing wrong with you. It's just, you were wired that way.
Mhm.
Does
Yes.
that make sense?
That makes a ton of sense, and that's where I kind of figured out, you know, once I tapped into my body, because I feel like I was so disconnected from it. I think a lot of us,
Sure.
we're on autopilot, we are. But when I started doing nervous system regulation work, learning about it and then, applying it for my clients, I kind of started doing that. And then with success, I thought, well, I've transformed a lot of my pain. So then I'm going to move to potential. And what's holding me back from my potential is exactly what you were explaining. It was that whole, oh, I feel scared making a video and sharing it on social media. Oh, I don't like listening to my voice. And oh, but maybe that's an excuse my brain is making so that I don't. Right. Like I'm like, my voice is fine. But 3, 4 years ago, hearing myself, I'm like, "Oh, turn it off. Can't listen to it." Like, maybe I shouldn't share my voice. But here I am now, and I know that it's because of tapping. I would tap on it,
Yeah.
reduce that fear, the amygdala response, and suddenly I'm doing things that would scare the crap out of me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it works, and okay, in the '90s, when we were first doing it, we had no idea how it worked because we didn't know anything about the amygdala or, like, the why. Now the brain science is in, and so, that makes total sense, but I would say to people back then, "Look, you don't know how Oprah gets in your TV, and you still turn that thing on. Let's try it. If it works, we keep doing it. If it doesn't, we'll do something else." And over again, we'd have all this success, and people just loved it. And I was seeing, I mean, if the night they wouldn't end up in the hospital, and because my caseload was so off the charts when I started, like it's just these people are in and out of hospitals on all sorts of meds. They're coming off their meds. They're not
Mhm,
in and out of the hospital. Their nightmares are stopping. So it was so dramatic, their response and the people and all my clients, especially in the beginning, had psych backup and the psychiatrist, they're like, "What are you?" In fact, the medical director of this place, one of my clients came in, he said, "You know what Doctor So and so says about you?" I said, "No, what?" He goes, "We don't always know what she's doing in there, but all her people get better, so we let her keep going." And I thought, "What do you think I'm doing? Like tarot cards? Like, come on." Like, but there was no research. There was no it didn't make sense because we didn't even understand what the brain
mm,
and traditional thing was, "Oh, just let them talk about it." But now we know if you keep talking about your trauma, you're gonna make it worse because you create more neural paths to where the trauma is and the panic and the terror is, and then you don't complete it. But
mhm.
if I do tapping as we're talking about your trauma, it completes and you know it's over.
Yes.
And so now we know why it worked. I just was having these things happen. One of my favorite stories is in the beginning, there was this lady, she never could use a bathroom in public because that's where her trauma happened. And so she'd be at work, she'd have to go home to go to the bathroom. She always had to live near where she worked. She couldn't even go to the mall. You'd have to go, like she couldn't
Mhm.
use any public bathroom. She couldn't. We had a big clinic, and she couldn't use our bathroom. So I just learned tapping. She comes in, and we were talking. We had talked about. It, I knew it, and I said, "Well, I just learned this new thing." And so I just did it with her, and she thought about going in the bathroom, and it wasn't scary anymore. And I said, "Well, go test it. Go test it. Go to our bathroom." She walked in there the anxiety when she was in there was on a 0 to 10 level, maybe a 2, whereas before just thinking about it, she was a 10. It was like a 2. She came out of there, she was it was over, it was over. She was so happy. We did one more round of tapping. She went to work, she walked into work, she walked into the bathroom, no panic. Oh, she said she came out of there and she said to her coworkers, "I just used the bathroom." I think they probably thought she was nothing then, but
Yeah, yeah.
and things like that would happen to me, and I was like, "I have to learn this thing. I have to go." So then I really studied it. I went and studied with Roger Callahan,
Yes.
developed it yeah, and I actually taught for him for several years. Yeah, so I was like, "How did you figure that out? How did you like?" Because I wanted to know the ins and outs of it. So, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I love that, and that kinda goes into my next question, like, are there any sort of stories that stick out when it comes to someone feeling stuck and then doing some tapping, and then they were able to shift so drastically that you're like, "Whoa, that's amazing."
Let me answer it this way. When you wanna use tapping for success, what you wanna do is image what you wished you could do. This is really fun to do. Do we wanna do an example with everybody that they can
Yeah,
do? Okay, let's do that.
yeah.
Alright. Okay. So, when you wanna do tapping for success, there's a cool way you can do it, where, you image what you usually do, and then you image what you want to do and you see the distinction. So let's do that for the audience. So everybody listening, I want you to think about a behavior that you do that you wish you could do something else. So this is, we'll call it your undesirable behavior. Like, for example, if your desirable behavior is you're going to get up and you're going to go work out every morning, or you're going to put your sneakers on, take a walk. But what you usually do is get up and you get a cup of coffee, then you look at your phone and look at your emails, and then you do like, with like something, you want to look at something behavioral, or you want to give a speech, you want to be up there confident. But if you imagine yourself doing it, you can't find your words, you're afraid, your stomach's got butterflies in it. Okay. So pick something you want to do, and something and along with what you do instead, because that's the funnest way to do it. All right. So do you have something you want to work on? Okay. You want to tell everybody or no?
Yeah, I can. So
Okay.
what I wanna work on, I think that what you said, I was getting into a routine of checking my phone first,
Okay.
when really I should connect with myself, maybe do a little bit of writing on my book, that stuff first
Okay.
before filling my head in with that. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Perfect. So that's perfect. All right. So first, we'll look at your desirable behavior. So you're going to kind of close your eyes and just imagine yourself getting out of bed, going to your desk, writing. You haven't touched your phone. You're there, you're writing. Imagine it. For some of you, you'll visually see it. Some will feel it. Some will just know it. I'm doing it. And on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 means, oh man, I'm really doing this. How high do you go?
Mhm. I would say I feel a little bit of, "Ooh, but I gotta reach for my phone."
Exactly. So it's not a 10. It's not
Out of
clear.
10.
When it's
So,
really clear, you can pull it off. But if it's not clear, you can't pull it off.
no, there's a part of me that's like, "Oh," but I'm so used to it's right on my
Yeah, it's like, wait,
nightstand.
I'll just give it a little check.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe you know what? I'd say probably like a 4, to be
Okay.
honest. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Great. So your desirable one is 4. Okay. Now I should have actually done it this way. Let's change it. So the first thing you want to do is picture the behavior you usually do. We'll call it your undesirable behavior, and see yourself for you getting out of bed, looking at your phone, sitting in your chair, whatever you do. Like picture it happening. Just look at it. How comfortable it is. Whatever. Okay. You got it. And on a scale of 0 to 10, how clear is that image?
Oh, a 10.
That's a 10. Okay.
That's a 10. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So now I want you to imagine you have a huge eraser and erase it. Okay.
Mhm.
And now bring to mind behavior you wished you could do. You get out of bed and you go to your desk and you're writing. You haven't even thought about your phone. You're there and you're writing and you're making it happen and whatever. And on a scale of 0 to 10, how clear is that?
Ooh, I would say like a 5.
5. Okay, great. So now notice your body and this 5 number, and notice where there's any contraction in the body. Body will give you a clue, like, or maybe it's, wherever it is. Okay. And that may make it go up, just so I'm warning everybody, might make it go up a little bit. That's okay. Now come down 3 inches and over 3 inches and rub in that sore spot here. A lot of tapping people don't do this, but I do it because it's a neurolymphatic drainage spot in the body. It's a very powerful spot. And you're just going to say, even though I can't do this yet, or I can't even see it, I can't imagine it, I accept myself. So say that 3 times. So even though I can't even imagine this,
Even though I can't even imagine this,
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
Even though I can't even imagine this ever happening, I accept.
Even though I can't imagine this even happening, I accept myself.
Even though I can't imagine it, I accept myself.
Even though I can't imagine it, I accept myself.
I tap here. I'm choosing to release anything that's blocking me from doing it.
I'm choosing to release anything that's blocking me from doing it.
All the roots and origins, why it's blocking me,
All the roots and origins of why it's blocking me
and all that it means and does to me. And we're
and
tapping on that side of your hand spot.
all that it means and does to me.
I'm choosing to release anything that's blocking me from doing what I want to do.
I'm choosing to release anything that's blocking me,
You say I want to do all the roots and origins of why it's blocking me,
all the roots and origins of why it's blocking me,
and all that it means and does to me.
and all that it means and does to me.
I am choosing to release anything that's blocking me from doing what I want to do.
I'm choosing to release anything that's blocking me from doing what I want to do.
All the roots and origins of it,
all the roots and origins of
and
it,
all that it means and does to
and all that it means and does to me.
my brother. And the side of your eyes, with those under your eyes, and then under your nose, and your lip, then your collarbone, under your arms 4 inches, and then under your chest. Hold your fingers together like a laser at the top of your head. In your back of your hand, the palm of your hand, the top part, yeah, in that soft area there, and put it on your body. With your head straight, close your eyes and open them. With your head straight, look down in one corner, look down in the other. Then roll your eyes all the way around the room one way, then in the opposite direction. Yeah, and then hum. You count to five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And then hum. 8. Balance. Side of your eyes. Under your eyes. Under your nose and your lip. Collarbone. Under your arms. And under your chest. Move all your fingers through the top. All right, now go look at the one you wanted to do. The new one. You get out of bed, you're at your desk. 0 to 10. Did that get worse? Did that get better?
That got better because as I was tapping, I realized it's just an avoidance strategy.
Mhm.
I'd rather just scroll on my phone because this book deadline's so close.
Right.
And, when things are just about to be completed, it's like, no one's gonna like my book. It's gonna suck.
Mhm.
Gonna
Let me
so
reject.
my
Yep.
yeah, and I think the phone use is because I was thinking too as I was tapping, I can charge my phone and leave it there and go make the kids breakfast and do everything, but lately, that's why I haven't been, and I would
Okay.
rather just pick up my phone and look at it and look at it. There's nothing to look at. There's nothing.
Nice.
But it is because I have
Excellent.
to get this done.
Cool. So that's mental. Now that's you have more awareness. When you
Yeah.
quiet your brain down, this awareness comes to you. So now, as usual, we all make sense. Okay.
Mhm.
We're not like random. We make sense. Okay. We don't want to be rejected. No issue. But what I want to see is can you imagine doing it now? 0 to 10. I think you were like a 5.
Yeah.
What are you at now?
Oh, probably a 7.
Okay, great. But you're not all the way there yet.
Not all the way
So
up
let's do one more round.
Okay,
We can get
yeah.
it to a 10.
Okay, okay.
So that just means there's a part of you dragging your feet.
Mhm. Oh,
So down 3 inches and over thing.
hey,
So now you use the word completely. If you're not at a 10 and you've been doing this with us, do it with completely. Even though I can't completely see this,
even though I can't
I
completely see
can't
it,
completely do it yet. I'm not all on board. I accept myself. You just accept part of you dragging your feet. No big deal.
even though I'm not completely there, I accept myself.
I am choosing to completely release anything that's blocking me from doing what I say I want to do.
I'm choosing to completely release what it is that I say I wanna do.
Yeah, that's blocking me from that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm choosing to completely release anything that's blocking me from doing what I want to do.
I'm choosing to completely release
Anything.
anything that's blocking me from doing what I wanna do.
And we should add to it and all the roots and origins of it because it didn't start here as an adult. It started, it's in your roots and origins. It even could be in your lineage. Don't step up. Don't be too big. If people had money or success, those were the ones that got ridiculed or I don't know what your lineage or your DNA is, but yeah,
Yeah.
all the roots and origins of it and all that it means and does to me.
All the roots and origins of it and all that it means and does to me.
Those of you who are the middle children, you're not allowed to shine or the baby, forget about it. Like that's reserved for us older ones. I'm choosing to completely release anything that's blocking me from doing it.
I'm choosing to release everything that's blocking me from doing this.
The roots and origins of how it got in my field
All the roots and origins of how it got in my field
and all that it means and does.
and all that it means and does to me.
Okay, let's see what we can get. So now you do your tapping. So by saying that roots and origins piece, you go deeper, you go into the lineage, you can go into energy because we're so powerful. We just don't know it. Energy has to do what you tell it to do. You're telling it stay here because I don't want to get hurt again under your chest.
Yeah.
And then all your fingers up here. But now you're saying, no, go release that. That's not, I don't need that anymore.
Yes.
And if you do need it and you're in your, maybe you have to go speak in front of a group that is going to shoot you. I don't know, then bring it back and don't do it. You have a choice. Go stress it over the APA or something. Yeah. It's not that way, down the other way.
Yeah.
Big circle, the opposite direction, and then hum.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Move it. Eyebrow. Side of your eyes. Under your eyes, under your nose, and your lip, and under your arms, under your chest, and all your fingers up here at the tip. Okay, now go look at. You get out of bed, you go right, you're at your desk. 0 to 10, where are we at? 10 means,
10.
oh, I could do it.
10 because, and I can say 10 because as I was tapping, I could feel excitement to go and write them.
That's where you want to be. So it's not a drudgery. It's not like, oh, I got to do this or I have to push myself to do it. All you're doing is releasing the programming. And some of it isn't even yours. It's just in your lineage, or you saw something at a vulnerable time, or somebody laughed at you in first grade when you were reading, or something. But that's where the origin is. It's not in present time. Now, here's the funny part. Go look at the original one where you get out of bed, you're looking on your phone, and you don't want to do your thing. And tell me what that was very clear when you first remembered it. What's it now?
I would say like it not being 10 being very clear.
Yeah.
Or, yeah. So I would say I could see myself not wanting to pick up my phone. So maybe like maybe a 2 or a 1 where
Right.
it's like, I should probably go do this. I need to go do this actually, because this is more exciting. There's
Right.
nothing exciting about the phone when I'm in that vision.
Exactly. Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So when some people will say to me, I can't even see that anymore. Okay. Why? Because you don't resonate with it anymore.
Mhm.
You were resonating with that. You see, now you're resonating with the new thing. It's just so much easier. If you're going to try to do something, please use the tapping. It's so, people have said to me, how can you get up there and speak in front of whatever? Well, for one, I've done it a long, 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 long time. So, I have confidence you get from doing, but it's like driving a car. You don't get confidence from reading a book on how to drive.
Mhm.
But you could take the more you do it, it drops into your subconscious mind. It's easy. But if there's anything I have to do, that's another leap.
Yeah.
That's when I use my tapping.
I was gonna ask you that actually, how you use your tapping because, right, you can speak, you speak on stages, you create these courses, you're a leader in the field, a pioneer in energy psychology, doing trainings for people. So that was one of my questions is, how do you use tapping? And is that just something that you visualize yourself as well and do that shifting of states?
Yeah, that's what I would. That's what I don't really do it so much anymore. I've also found the more I did tapping with my clients. This is why I love tapping more than any other one. There's lots of things I know, but I have to tap with you.
Mm.
So, like, you're getting a healing, I'm getting a healing. Like, after a while, I think my amygdala just gave it up. Like, this is like, whatever. She's just going to silence me. So, what? I think I'll just give it up. But remember, that was your original state.
Mm.
Like, you have babies. They're here. Like, I'm here. They're all like, and then somebody takes them home. And then we tell them to be quiet, or who do you think you are? Or the sibling tells them you're a jerk or whatever. And they get programmed, especially under the age of 7. And that's because of your brainwave state. You're mostly in theta, which is very programmable. So the baby gets programmed out of this. So when you do the tapping, it brings you back to this because this is who you are. This like, woohoo, I'm here. I came to Earth. I wanted to come. I signed up. Here I am. And then somebody says, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel going about the goals that I'm kind of reaching now. It's like I'm co-creating with the universe. Like this is, tell me what I need to do, tell me what I need to say. And it's just a different where it's before it was, it's like, I gotta do this to make this person happy, so my parents are proud of me, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
That's not what you came for, to have your parents proud of you.
Yeah.
Each soul came to for their own experience.
Yeah.
And your parents don't even know what your experience. They don't know. They agreed to take your soul in. That's true. But and to get and you be grateful that they brought you here. But you really want you're we're all supposed to be here. This is a wild time on the planet right now. And a time of great, I know it's chaotic. And I don't want your listeners to be scared. Use quiet your limbic brain down. But it's such a powerful time. We can create so fast right now. It's like really cool. You think it. We're gonna get to a point, and energy is moving so fast right now that you think something and it happens like almost instantaneous. There was I don't know if you heard of Abraham Hicks. I used to listen to them in the 90s too. And they had this great saying, if every time you had a negative thought, a brick dropped on your head, you clean up your act. Okay. But what's going to happen is you're kind of got to get how powerful you are.
Mhm.
But now you have to quiet your limbic system, now your body, your nervous system down. So it's just so easy to create what you want. And
Yeah.
then we teach it to the world. So nobody, it doesn't matter. You can create a flower, I can create a tree, or whatever we're creating, okay? And,
Mhm.
and there's no jealousy, or there's not scarcity, or we can shift the whole consciousness of it is shifting. The question is, are you going to struggle through the shift? Or are you gonna be part of the shift and guiding and be a light in the shift and a way shower, we could call it.
Mm.
But to do that, it's just what you're doing. You have to do it yourself first.
Yes, and I think as you were saying all of that, it's when we take responsibility to clear the emotional charge we have to stories that we carry, that shifts our consciousness, right? When we tap, like, that awareness, that always happens to me all the time, and I'm sure anyone who taps has that, where it's like, "Ding, oh, I was looking at that kinda weird, like, why was I thinking like that?" That shift in consciousness when we're all able to do
Yeah,
that, can
yeah.
you imagine? Like, that
That's
how
what I'm saying.
amazing.
Could you imagine, like, if everybody knew they could create that and they didn't have to, you know you know, resort to cheating or stealing or drugs or anything. Like I can create that myself. Watch me, That kind of, we've all been programmed so awful. But anyway, it's
Yeah.
going to shift. It is shifting. The planet is shifting. I know we're going, I would say it's like childbirth. It's, you're going to, those contractions before that birthing happens, like where you want to just run around the nurse's station and just scream, something's wrong, something's wrong. And and those of us who are playing a healer role or a coach's role or a therapist role, your job is to be the nurse at the nursing station saying, nothing's wrong. Get back in bed, take a breath, keep breathing, keep tapping. The baby, we're birthing a newer. That is the shift. That's why the shift is what's happening right now. And so a lot of the old stuff is coming up to be healed, to be transmuted, to be whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, everybody's so important. Your soul wanted to be here, but let's get in alignment and be loyal to it about why you came.
Yeah.
Why did you want to come? See $8 million.
Yeah, and that the finding that out and tapping once you clear out all the shoulds and everything, it becomes a lot easier. Now, what one question I have is, what belief do you see holds people back the most from stepping into their potential?
Well, I don't know if there's one. The one I see a lot is like I'm bad. I'm not good
Mm,
enough. I'm not enough. Like, I
mm,
mean, you have little kids now, and thankfully parenting has evolved, especially since the 50s. But like, who do you think you are? Those kinds of one. Can you imagine who you'd be if your parents told you how precious you were? You're so precious. You're so beyond. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Like, you know, they have parents. You have to educate your children, but to give them this sense of like, how precious they are as souls. And then and then this idea you're unique. That's why I love human design now. Like, this is your design. This is what's going to light you up. Or as parents, if you knew the design of your children and then you parented with that in mind and these unique souls, it's not about what my design is. It's not about what my soul came to do. It's what did their soul come to do?
Mhm.
Because we're uniquely designed to fulfill that. So you can't make a manifester like somebody with like not tell them what they think. Can you imagine? I'm a manifester, right? So if I were like the baby of the family, who cares what you think? Wait a minute, I know what I know. And you
Yeah.
have to stifle that and stifle that, and then when you try to express it, you feel like you're bad or wrong. So I think and there's so many techniques we have now to transmute this energy of unworthiness
Mm.
that your parents felt unworthy, that's why they put it on you. You can transmute any energy.
Mhm.
Tapping's one way you can do it. There's many ways you can transmute energy, but it's not by thinking your way through it because the mind is limited. It's like the mind just can't pull it off. It's always great when you get those aha moments because then you don't feel like you're really messed up. Like, fuck, do what I do, so that's always reassuring.
Yeah.
To me, everybody always makes sense. And there's nothing wrong with you. It's how you got programmed. That's from working with thousands and thousands and thousands of clients, thousands that I can, and I thank blessedly was with them to go back to figure out where did that programming happen. And they make sense. And then it's easy to shift it.
Yes. So getting to the root
Yes,
of the
the root.
self-worthiness, the deservedness, that's my go-to with, I don't deserve this. I always to self-sabotage myself, my thinking goes there.
And
Yeah.
then there's because of we're in this on planet Earth where there's two. It feels like there's two. There's really only one, but because if you're in matter, there feels like there's two. So if I want for something, that means you can't have it.
Mm.
Like there's limitation. Like, and so it's like, and we have to figure out how to maneuver here. Like he's good at what's my, you know what I mean? It's being into duality is, and of course we have to deal with free will.
Mhm.
So even though we're all souls and great lights, it doesn't mean I can't create a mess.
Yeah,
That's
right.
free
Yeah.
will. Nobody can stop you. That is energy law. That is the law of this planet.
Mhm.
Nobody can stop you from, having an experience of that. And yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, we just really have some lousy programming. We just don't understand. That's why I love to bring spirituality into it, like a higher understanding of what are the laws and what is who you really are. And once you tap into that, it's just easier to and then to do what you came to do. I would
Mhm.
say if you don't think there's a God, you should be anxious because this place is nuts. It's scary down here. If you don't think there's a plan and you can align with it and not have while a lot may be going around you, you're still aligned and you can make the decisions that are right for you. I'm not saying my decision's right for you. My decision's right for me. Especially
Mhm.
with a lot like the misinformation right now. There's fake news is everywhere on the internet. You can drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
Versus like go within and what's my guidance? What's my soul guiding me to? That's the only thing that's going to keep us peaceful. And then we want peace on the planet, then we have to be peace on the planet. That's
Mhm.
the only thing that will do it is if we stay in alignment and loyal to our soul, not to what our parents thought we should do, or my brother thinks we should do, or my religion, or my ancestors. That was work for them, whatever. I don't need to judge it. I'm just not doing it. My life. Yeah.
Everything you're saying, that's what I always say. There's no world peace until we cultivate inner peace
Possible.
in
And
this.
because of free will, we get to choose when we're going to get there. We could all choose it
Mm.
tomorrow and we'd be there. But because of free will, and
Right.
people weren't programmed that way. Drop the judgment. I'm grateful. I have different programming, and I have the skills, and I have I can clean up my nervous system, so I don't have to be in such terror all the time.
Mhm. Yes. We'll kind of wrap up here. What are you most proud of in your life so far, Mary?
Oh gosh, nobody's ever asked me that question. There's so many things. I mean, there's so many. I don't even know how I would even answer that question. I don't know if I'm proud. I'm just so grateful that I've had the experiences that I have had, and I guess if I had to say I was proud of something, I'm proud that I listened to myself, Like- because I had always had great knowingness, and I've always, and I, in some ways, it was a little arrogant because I thought these people are stupid. I'm not listening to them. That was me as a kid even. Like, I could tell this is off, but I had
Mhm.
confidence in myself. And so that's really enabled me to follow my soul, my
Mhm.
intuition, my guidance. I think that's probably the thing I admire the most if I were gonna admire something, and because oftentimes I've taken a leap of faith when it didn't make sense, like even just to go learn how to tap on your face. Like I mean, but I did it anyway. I just no, my soul is calling me here, but I didn't have those words for it. But I've always done it. Like something felt right to me, so I would do it. And it didn't matter if everybody, you know, thought it was crazy or what are you doing or, people will laugh at you, whatever. Like so I think that's the quality that I have been able to call, and I think that some of that's because I was one of the older ones in the family, or for whatever reason, I came in my design. Now that I know my design,
Yeah.
I know that was just something I came in with. So I don't know if it's I'm proud of it. I'm grateful I've done it that way.
I love that. I love when you feel like you have a knowing and you don't wanna conform and you're like, "No, there's something off about this, and I'm gonna
Yes.
just go my own way." I definitely feel that. I had to deal with a lot of disappointing a lot of people because
Yeah.
I would do that. That was the hard part, I would say, but I'm
Yeah.
same as you.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'm glad that I did it regardless.
Yeah, I mean, because I was reading something the other day. They interviewed people who had died, who were dying, and like the biggest thing is to have regrets. I don't want to have a regret that I didn't, do it. And so to me, the tapping just makes it easier to do it because I don't have to fight against the part of me that's so terrified
Mm,
because of what it went through, or because of the ridicule in school, or the this or the that doesn't want to be heard again. So if I
yeah.
can, that's why the work of bringing in parts and in honoring them and getting them on board and getting all parts of you here, so that you're just in one mind. It's just then life is really easy. You're not got kind of like when you got a couple kids and one wants to go here and one wants to go here and all we're doing is fighting in the car.
Yeah.
The game.
Yep.
It's kinda like that. That's how we are with ourselves. So to
Mm,
get everybody on board, we're going to the same place and we're excited about going and it's gonna be okay. And even if it doesn't work out, we don't care. We're having an adventure.
mm.
Life's an adventure, not like a cautionary tale.
Yes,
So
it's the process. It's the
yeah,
journey.
yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I was gonna ask you if you know your human design, you know you're a manifester. Let's tell everybody what you're up to, how people can find you and connect with you.
Okay, so my favorite thing for you to way to find me is to come on Tapping Tuesdays. It's every Tuesday at 2 o'clock Eastern time. I started it for the pandemic because everybody was freaking out, and I thought, how can I know this and not share it? And it's free. Drop in. There's no commitment. There's no nothing. Just have to sign up. Thousands of people have signed up for it. Usually over 100 people come on it, and you never know what somebody's going to say. Somebody will raise their hand. They want to go, and I'll work with somebody. Everybody taps. We laugh. It's fun, and everybody has a healing because it's unbelievable that somebody will have your issue and lucky you, they have to do the talking and you get the
Mm,
benefit. So it's so much fun. So that's one way to just come and be with me. I mean, I do some one-on-one sessions, but so you can always have that. But the Tapping Tuesday is free. You should check me out first. And then what else am I doing? I'm teaching at Omega this summer with Dawson and Donna and Eden and David Feinstein. That's in Omega in August, which is in Rhinebeck, New York. If you're around there, that's a great place to go. I'll be teaching the shift in September. I have another 7-week course going. I also serve as the director of Her Holiness Saima's Magdalena Healing Program. And that's a program for healers, and what will happen at the end of that, we receive an initiation into the energetic healing frequencies of the Magdalena lineage, which is super, really powerful. So if you're an energy worker, you can check that out. That's on magdalenahealing.com. My website is maryseiss.com. Often every other month now, I've been doing like a two-hour course or a 90-minute course. There's lots of free downloads on there. And so there's plenty of ways to reach out and plenty of ways to work with me in programs. And yeah, and clean up those fears so you can just live this life of your dream. and serve others. Think
Mhm.
about just like, let's help this planet to shift. The more of
Yeah.
us that free ourselves from all this lousy programming and amygdala.
Yeah.
I have to find a good word for that. Amygdala hijacks or something like it just hijacks your fun. So yeah, so the more of us that do that, we will serve the planet. And the other thing, when you energetically work, you serve your lineage. So your children, your grandchildren, like you'll just see these old fears from the ancestors don't pass down. And so, you're really serving energetically your lineage. And it's fascinating what's happening on the planet right now.
Yeah, it's bigger
So,
than just
uh,
you.
totally,
Yeah,
totally.
I'll link your website and Magdalena Healing. That's really cool. I gotta check that out a little bit more, and I'll make sure I get that in the show notes for everybody. But Mary, this has been a dream come true,
Oh,
a little
thank
manifestation here for me, talking to you about
you.
getting to tell you my story. And I
Mhm.
think on on the Facebook group when you were running the Shift Network, I don't know if you still do Facebook groups for that, but I remember the first night I did it, my subconscious mind was reprogramming itself because I wrote to you. I used to have a dream I was being chased a lot. And after that one day of tapping that I did with you the first week, I turned to the tiger that was chasing me and I pet it.
Yeah.
I
That's
think like the subconscious mind was like, "Wait, why are you running? Why do you have to run from this?" I will definitely tell people when you are running the Shift Network, the first course again, because honestly, your life will probably change.
definitely.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
And that's it for today's episode. Please share it with anyone else who wants to learn more about human design or anyone who may be on their personal growth and spiritual development journey. You can DM me on Instagram to talk about what resonated with you, what you learned about yourself. I love hearing about human design in real life, so I really appreciate those conversations. And if you would like, you can leave a comment, a review, a rating, and subscribe to the podcast. That support means the world. Thank you so much for listening. I know time is a valuable currency. Take care.